Hello, everyone. Come on in as people come in. Hi, come on in. Oh, there's one of my co-hosts. Come on in, everyone. Hi, Michael.
Morning, good afternoon, I guess, where you are, huh?
It is. It is. Welcome people as they come in, and I'm going to bring Sarah over here when she gets here, and she will make sure that our chat is up and running because we've been having issues with that lately. So we have to go in the inside. So she will be over here in a couple of minutes. So for you guys that are over there that are starting to come in, if you don't have something to write with, please get something to take notes, because Michael here is going to have some pearls of wisdom that I know you want. So you want to take notes as much as you possibly can. Okay, good. Hey, and so what's your plans for the day, Michael? Anything fun?
Well, I've got 3 big auditions that I'm taping due. One's due tomorrow and 2 are due on Monday. And then I have a client meeting this afternoon. So yeah, a busy Saturday.
Yeah. I had an audition this morning too.
Right on.
For recurring on a guest on a sitcom.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. So it was fun. And
You've never done anything like that before though, right?
Yeah, no. But it was fun because my husband, like the first take, my husband was laughing. And so you can't laugh, Gilbert. You have to not laugh, you know? And so he was laughing while we were shooting the scene, but it's fun.
That's awesome. Well, good luck on that. Break legs on that. I'm excited. One of my auditions is for an episodic, and the character is a coda, so which is a child of a deaf adult. And as you know, I'm a father of 3 deaf children.
Yeah.
So it's super fun. I get to it's not often that I get to use my ASL skills for work. So but the character is hearing, speaking, but his parents are deaf, so he's signing a lot throughout the series. So that's gonna be a fun booking.
Yeah, that would be awesome. And it's when something perfect like that comes along for you, then Sarah, why don't you go and see if you can do the chat to make sure it's using. And for you guys that are coming in, please put in the chat where you are calling in from. We want to know. We're trying, if the chat is not working, we're going to fix that in 1 second. There is also a Q&A portion. We are definitely here to answer your questions. So if you have questions, please populate them into the Q&A of the webinar. And let me see if, okay, I don't think the chat is working. So she's going to make it work, hopefully. If not, you can always put it in the Q&A for everyone. Like if you want to say something, you can put it in the Q&A and we'll read it out. But hopefully we usually get the chat and then we'll see it going. So while we're waiting for that, and let's give people a couple of more, another minute, Michael, just to come on. And if you guys don't have something to write with, please get something to write with. Okay. Cool. And then Sarah will be working on that. Let me make sure she's not telling me something.
Nope, I'm working on it.
You are? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yay. So let's go ahead while we're starting this, because we are recording this. So if you're watching the recording, we're starting. So Michael, just let everyone know a little bit about who you are and yeah, what's going on.
Cool. Hi, everyone. I'm Michael Vincent Berry. I am a working actor. I base out of Austin, Texas, and split time with my other residents in Albuquerque, New Mexico. a little bit about me. I got my started in show business when I was about 6, when my mother put me up in front of a record player with a wooden spoon in my mouth and in my hand, lip syncing to Dolly Parton and Kenny Rogers' Island in the Stream, and it's been no looking back since then. I was an actor in New York for a while. Then I actually, I've been doing theater most of my life. My foundation, my training has all been in theater. I left the acting world for a good amount of time in my 30s and 40s and went into public education, and started off in the Boston area, and then moved to San Francisco, the Bay Area, Oakland, and was the chair of theater and the artistic director for Oakland School for the Arts in Oakland, California. Raised some now mega superstars. Zendaya was my student. Tati Gabrielle, who is blowing up all over the place, was my student. Bo Burnham, back in Boston. I had the privilege of teaching him, and the pop singer Kehlani, among other people. Well, that's awesome, and those kids have gone on to become, hugely successful. I'm super proud too of my achievements just in theater education and in general. I've had hundreds of students go to post-secondary, conservatory, university level, elite training programs throughout the world. The Guildhall School of London, Tisch, NYU, Carnegie, the New School, Pace, Stella Adler, like on and on and on and on. So I'm super thrilled about all of the training that I've been able to afford kids for the last 20 years. I was fortunate in 2016, was inducted into my alma mater's Hall of Fame for my work in theater education. I was Tony nominated for a special Tony Award in 2017 for my work with kids with disabilities in the arts. I have 3 deaf Latino kids that I adopted from Mexico 10 years ago. So that was a big inspiration for me. And then about 5 years ago, I reached out to Valorie Hubbard and said, okay, my turn. I want to do this too. And Valerie's personal friends with some of my family. And so all the stars aligned, and I met Valorie, and she really began setting me on the right path of getting everything I needed to get together to be able to start building credits so that I could just keep moving and moving and moving. And it's been an invaluable relationship, one that has more than returned the fruits of the labor from working with Valorie for the past 4.5, 5 years. I have had some great stuff happening the last 3 years or so. This last year, or a couple of years ago, shot Sony Amazon's Them, which was critically acclaimed and widely successful. And forewarning, I play bad guys, serial killers, rapists, murderers, all of those bad, ugly people that we love to hate. I'm the guy. And then was fortunate to I auditioned 3 times for Better Call Saul, and was landed. I was actually the last actor ever hired and the entire 6-year run of Better Call Saul. Was in the series finale back in August. And then in February, March and April was out in Albuquerque filming a top of show reoccurring guest star, 5 episodes out of 6 for season 2 of Waco, which is going to air this April on the 30th anniversary of the compound raid. So, and just auditioning a lot and working with clients, and I just got back from LA yesterday, was out shooting with a really awesome photographer out there. So just, working actor. Sometimes that means you're flying to LA. Sometimes that means you're auditioning from, your studio. Sometimes you're on set, but just working. And so, and the great privilege of being able to continue to work with youth in helping them launch their careers. And where do I start? Where do I go? And so many parent questions, and how do we do all of this? And so it's just awesome just being able to plug into so many creative outlets that make me whole. And so yeah, I'm super excited to talk to you guys today and see how we can help you on your journey.
Awesome. Yay, Michael. It's so
Yay.
exciting, everything that's happening to you. Sarah, do you want to introduce yourself?
I'm really close to fixing it, so give me one moment.
Okay, never mind. Okay, hi, everyone. I'm Valorie Hubbard. My company is Actors Fast Track. I've been a working actor my whole life since I was a little girl. I started when I was 3, and I grew up in Kansas. And my parents weren't exactly sure what to do. So, you know, because there were no me kind of companies around then. So they got me through, and I went to a good acting school, and I've acted my whole life. My credits are Castle, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., How I Met Your Mother, Resident Evil, Extinction, True Blood, American Horror Story, every Disney show, and Hannah Montana movie, and a lot more. And I've worked in theater and commercial and video games. And I was always really good at the business side of acting because my father was an entrepreneur, a successful entrepreneur. So I had it in my blood. And so I started helping my friends very early on, you know, with their acting careers. And then one of my friends said, hey, you should charge for this. So in the 90s, I had a business in New York. And then 10 years ago in Los Angeles, I started Actors Fast Track, and it was going to be just a little thing, and it turned into a gigantic thing. So we work with actors all over the world. We have clients all over the world. And we start with actors wherever they're stuck in their career and where they want to get to the next level. So like Michael came to me, he wanted to be an actor. So, you know, we got him branded, we got him on his way, selling to the people. He now has a big manager. He's now having a big career. And that's what we want to do with all of our clients. Well, you know, Michael came to me a year ago and said, listen, Valorie, do you want to bring me on and we'll launch Actors Fast Track Junior? So that's what we did a year ago. And the clients that have already been worked with Michael already, well, one of them just booked a top of show guest star.
Yeah, great. A huge new show that's filming in Albuquerque for Nickelodeon. And you know, he was with us for a year and like had no credits, nothing on it, didn't have a resume. I gave him the paper to write it on, right? So like just like nothing. And we worked and coached for a year and got his package together. And now, you know, here he is. You know, he's done a couple of small.
So exciting.
Yeah, super exciting. Like, and that's common. That's the through line with all of our youth actors, right? They come, you know, their parents are like, my child's showing interest in this. Of course, every parent has the most amazingly talented kid, which we love. And so you know, and they're like, do we start with an agent? How do we start? So there's so much confusion and chaos, you know, that typically comes with the start of not knowing what to do. And so being able to, you know, to latch on where they are and take them. I love that you said that, take them from where they are to where they want to go, and we're having great success. So it's awesome.
Yeah, and I want you to know, because for you guys that maybe are calling from the UK or Australia or whatever, as adults with Actors Fast Track, we have a ton of clients, and actually some of our most success stories right now, besides Michael, some of our biggest success stories are our British clients right now. We have Angela Yo, who just opened and walked the red carpet for She Said, the movie about Harvey Weinstein. She was just here last week walking the red carpet and then back. And so when we started with her, she was tired of being Asian and getting only auditions for doctors and nurses. And she wanted to be a bigger actress. And that's what has occurred for her. So we are very familiar. Michael, you know, you guys met us through the Actors Youth Summit and Expo, Actors Youth Expo. And we have been with them for many years with adults. So this is our new foray into that. Yes, Sarah, hi. Is the chat working?
No, it's not. And I've gone in and changed it from our our official Zoom settings, and it's not even giving me the option to make it work now that it's here.
Okay, so so people, if you have something to say, please put it in the Q&A, and that's where our questions are going to be, and hopefully that works. So Sarah, I just wanted to introduce Sarah, you guys. Sarah is our head of talent in our program, in all of our programs, and she's our customer care. All of the clients and people that work with us know her very well. And she's in the middle of producing a film.
Producing and acting in a film, yes. So it's crazy times. I was telling Val, I'm also a mom to 2 little kids.
Yes.
So I was telling Val I was having this big meeting with the executive producer this morning while I'm folding my kids' laundry. And I'm like, if my husband should have filmed this so people could see what like working moms in Hollywood have to do, because it's like one moment I'm doing my job with this, next moment I'm doing auditions for acting, the next moment I'm dealing with, we're working with a big talent agency to secure our talent for the project, and we've got feedback late last night, and I'm in Los Angeles and the executive producers in New York, and so we were meeting at 8 o'clock this morning my time, and I'm folding laundry and getting my daughter ready for dance class and getting ready to do all this. So it's it never ends.
It never ends. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here. And
I'm gonna keep trying to work. I don't know why it's not working. It's not even giving me the options that it gave on Thursday. So I
well, it is
apologize,
what it
guys.
is. Did I make you co-host? Oh, maybe that's the problem.
Oh yeah, make me co-host. Let me see if that helps.
That will help. Okay. Goodbye.
That changed everything.
Okay. Goodbye.
Bye.
Okay. So, Michael, so where we got the material for today was Michael answered some questions for a young lady that was at the Youth Expo. And these are the 8 areas. And I think these are the 8 areas that you really cover when you're working with an actor. Thank you, Sarah. The chat works now, you guys. What's happening? Oh, okay, weird. Okay, strange. All right. I don't know why all these people are on, but that's fine. We're going to talk. Okay. So here they are. There are 8 things. So why don't I name them? And then Michael, let's go back and talk about them. Does that work for you?
That sounds great.
Okay. So here's the things that you were covering for this young lady. Actor training, because some of you guys are just thinking about acting and you've not, so actor training is important. 2, precise branding. 3, a robust marketing package to include resume, headshot, video clips. 4, building relationships with casting directors, agents, producers, writers, and directors. 5, mastering the audition process. 6, self-taping. 7, setting up your home studio. And 8, marketing to casting and agents. So, I mean, we know there's way more, but let's start at the top, Michael. So what do you want to say about actor training?
So the thing I want to say about actor training is that, particularly with youth or young adults, parents who are coming to us newly, they just oftentimes don't know where to start. And so one of the things that I really get a good feel and understanding for in the beginning with working with a new client is what experience do they have? Where are they coming from? Are they in a local community theater? Are they working middle school, high school? Where are they in their training? And oftentimes that's none. And so I really talk to them about, they often come with, I want to get an agent and I want to do all the things they think they need to do in the beginning, which are actually things that are much, much further down the road. At Actors Fast Track Junior, we work kind of in parallel. We're working from an actor's training standpoint, but we're also working from the business side of things. Because when those 2 worlds meet, we feel like you're best prepared to kind of go on and take on this what can be incredibly overwhelming journey for being new. And so, the thing I always recommend for our new clients are ongoing regular classes. And now post-COVID, We really live in a completely different world, both here internationally, both here domestically in the United States and internationally. And so our clients are both here domestically and internationally as well. So we're able to, you're able to come into some amazing opportunities with training with world-renowned premier coaches across the industry via
Online.
Right?
I have a client in London too that are taking a class with the guy in LA
Exactly.
online.
Yeah. And so that's part of the training. You don't have to be in New York or LA anymore. You don't have to be in the heart of London anymore to be able to access this training. So, everything from script analysis, breaking down scripts, understanding that process, character development, particularly if you're new in this, don't know how to, go about doing those types of things. Improv, always ongoing. Now in this particular realm of film and television, on camera training and all of that world, commercial auditioning, which is very different than theatrical. The auditioning process itself, there are classes for that, there's training for that, scene study, cold reading, the list goes on and on and on. And what I tell our clients is, it's important to be running that parallel with the business training that we're giving you. And oftentimes, through the relationship we have working with clients, I'm able to, offer a lot of those classes myself, as kids are starting. However, it's always great, particularly if you don't have a large resume established, that you also get out there and get other names on your resume, get other people's perspective, other coaches' perspective, so that maybe you don't have any credits. And so when you don't have any credits, how do we build that resume and make it a little more enticing for casting, for agents, for buyers, showrunners, writers, producers, directors? How do we make it enticing for them to have a look at you and take a chance on you? We do that by your special skills. We do that by enhancing your training, by getting you in front of other coaches that will not only be a great source on your resume, but offer you so many other different perspectives. I used to tell kids in my training programs when I was at Oakland School for the Arts, I'm not going to throw you a t-shirt and say, this is the way to act. I'm going to give you a whole shelf of clothing for you to try on. And how does it feel? And what does it look like? And does it make you feel powerful? And, from Chekhov to Grachowski to, there's hundreds and hundreds of master teachers that have come before us that live in our world now, that the more you are exposed to that training, the more able you are to be able to identify what resonates with you, right? And what works with you and what feels good. And even when that happens, to divert from that and try something new. And, I've been at this now 5 years, from in this perspective. I've theater my whole life, but film and television. And I'm constantly working with different coaches and working on different areas of my craft, building muscles in the gym. This is a workout, the whole process. As one of my coaches, Amy, says, if you want to be an Olympic athlete, if you want to be an Olympic actor, an artist, you have to work those muscles on a daily basis, right? And so training is super, super important. It's something that we offer within our training, in our work together at Actors Fast Track Junior, and through the connections that we have as working in the industry, we're connected to so many other class act coaches and trainers and teachers that we open up and make available to you to explore for yourself as well. But training is fundamental, and it's something that has to be continuous and ongoing.
That was awesome. I wanted to say that we all make this decision. I mean, some of you are younger or older, and we all make this decision, like when to carry on. I was on a Disney show with 4 guys, and I watched those 4 guys one of them went on to be an actor, but most of them had other things they wanted to do. But when you're in this field, really be in the field. That's what I really heard a lot of what Michael was saying about really study the greats, because it is a craft, and also craft and all of the training gives you longevity as an actor, and it also gives you a security. Like I'm a pro, that feeling like I'm a pro and I'm here to do a job and I've got this. So that was great, Michael. Thank you. So let's talk about, okay, so for you guys that are maybe on and off, I just wanted to tell you that we're going through this list of 8 things that are sort of pinpoints for what you should be doing to have a successful acting career. And the second one is precise branding.
Yeah, there's so many different schools of thought about this, and the one that I talk about is what worked for me, and what worked for me was the exercise, the training, the foundation that was established at Actors Fast Track with Valorie. And so, in the very beginning, I was just so excited. I was out of the classroom. I wasn't taking attendance. I wasn't having to deal with parent-teacher conferences. I was so excited just to be out here on my own now, right? And so, but I had no credits. I had nothing. I didn't know where to go. I knew I had to have some really great headshots, right? So I got a really great headshot photographer in LA, took some great headshots, and then I'm like, okay, now what? Didn't know about reels, didn't know about clips, didn't know about anything else. And so I came to Valorie. I'm like, okay, I've got these headshots. Who can I play? What can I do? And in the beginning, it was like, cooking a fresh pot of spaghetti every morning. I would get up, metaphorically, get my pasta ready, get my sauce ready, stir up all of my spaghetti. And then when it was cool enough, I would take it and throw it against the wall, and hopefully it would stick. Something would stick. And that was my acting career in the beginning. Oh, I could play a 50-year-old Jewish man from the Bronx. I'm like, 46 at the time. That part match, but I'm from tech. Like, I was trying everything. I could play anything and everything. Well, that was doing nothing much more than giving me a lot of headaches. I would wake up in the morning, I would get on Backstage and Actors Access and all the portals, casting networks, and I would go through them over and over and over and over, submitting anything that I could do to get something, right? And so Valorie said, there's a different approach that we can do that I find very successful. And I'm like, tell me all about it. And so we began the process of branding to better hone in and laser focus the types of roles that I would submit for. I didn't have an agent at the time, right? I didn't have any credits. Everything was theater. So no film and television credits. So, and so I moved back to Texas. I had my headshots. I had Valorie, and we began this process of branding. And look, it was a process, right? Because we had to figure out, okay, who are the types of, how do people see me? How is casting going to see me? I'm this big, burly, washed up old football player, who was I going to play? I was a mean guy, tough guy, nice guy. Who was I? And so we went through this process. In fact, the first branding exercise we did, we worked on for about a month, and then and I ran with that for a while, and then slowly but surely I started getting an audition here, an audition here. I started booking a little indie project, a little short, some local stuff, local student films were a fantastic place for me to start, because I got footage back quickly, right? Because you need the clips and the reels and all that stuff as well. So beginning that process and really honing in, I started to see how casting was seeing me. I started to see how agents were looking at me, and how showrunners and all these other people, the buyers, which I had no idea what that even meant at the time, how they were seeing me. I looked back over my theater resume, and I'm like, oh, I play this guy, and I play this type of guy, and this is how. So I slowly but surely began to kind of hone in on that branding. And then about about 2 years ago now, I started noticing that the films and the short projects and the television shows I was being cast or getting auditions for took on a whole different thing. And so I pivoted at the time. And that's an important part of this process, because as actors, if we're pivoting and always kind of leveling up and moving forward thinking, you're best aligned with what it takes to help make you successful. So I rebranded it a couple of years ago to more of a completely unhinged type of character, right? And that was everything from like Lenny in Of Mice and Men, who was unhinged in his own on his own way, in an innocent way, all the way up to the rapist, serial killer, ugly guy in them, right? And everything in between. And so the branding aspect of all of this exercise was really the thing that made a huge difference for me in really going from making spaghetti and throwing against the wall and working like on like a hamster wheel every single day, over and over and over and over and over again, to be able to focus. And then once I had that as the foundation, I was able to go get clips that matched the brand. My headshots were reshot to match the brand. And all of that, were the things that made it a lot more easy for me to laser in and go after who I was going for. The thing I will say about this is that this is an evolution. And as I've worked with Valorie, and as I've worked to enhance this brand, there's been other things that I've added to it, because there will become a point once you've worked with us that you're going to be getting, like one of my clients, the recurring shows and those larger pieces. And the thing that will be important is that these are people you get to go spend time with, sometimes 5, 6, 7 weeks, a month, 3 months, 4 months on set. And they want to know who they're going to be working with, right? So the branding of the character types that we can play is step one. And then the next layer on top of that, for me, that I found, is the branding that shows the essence of who you are and who you want to be seen as a person, right? I play killers, rapists, bad guys, but in real life, I'm just this great big giant lovable teddy bear, right? And so it's important for the people on set, the producers that are hiring you, casting your team, to be able to sell you and understand and know that that's a big part of who you are as well. And it plays an important part, and it lets them know, okay, you know what? We've got 5 53-year-old middle-aged white guys for the same role. Which one of these are going to stand out in a way that makes them somebody we want to be around and hire again and again and again? And so adding that essence of branding to who you are is another layer that I love working with my clients about, because it really helps set them apart.
That's great. So, look, I can imagine some of you might be parents that are listening to this and go, well, then how does this apply to my child? Look, it's about figuring out what is the part of your child that's most likely to get hired, right? So wherever you are in the world, there's shows and there's things that are cast and shot around where you live, right? Or plays or whatever they are. And so, right, understanding like where your child fits into that story, right? Because no one, the way people hire in the acting business is they're looking for unhinged guy. And Michael has made an effort to get known as that in the industry. So then Michael becomes a first choice for that, right? So you have to stand in line for the things that, and can you have other things? That's always a question that we hear a lot. What would you answer if someone said, well, can I have, a lot of different products? Can I be selling the unhinged guy? And what do you think?
Here's what I tell people. Here's what I feel. Hopefully everybody on here has heard of Robert De Niro. And I think that we've talked about this, or you shared a story about this as well.
Yes.
It's like Robert De Niro didn't start being Robert De Niro until he was Robert De Niro. In the beginning, he played one type of character, right?
Yes.
Now that he established himself over a span of decades as an actor, he plays whatever he wants. Look, the 5 characters, or 5 or 4 or 6, whatever the number is for your kid, that we established the types of roles that you would probably fit into as a youth actor. The best friend, the loyal student,
the snotty girl,
yeah, all of them,
girl,
right? There's a range, right? There's a range. I call it a spectrum. And so the bottom end of my spectrum is Lenny from Of Mice and Men, and the next level up may be the happy-go-lucky backyard barbecue dad who's going to probably burn down the hot dogs and probably burn down the house, right? And then everything gets worse from there, and meaner and scarier and uglier and everything else. Are those the only 5 characters I'm going to play in my entire life? Of course not. But we want to start your kid in a way that we can have a foundation. We can get headshots that match. We can get clips that match. We can focus. Otherwise, it can be incredibly overwhelming, incredibly chaotic, because you're trying to search and try to figure out how to submit to all of these different things. When if you work smartly, the results we find with the clients that we work with are exponentially faster, exponentially better, because they're more focused and they're more in line with who you can play and who you want to be known as. You will, of course, be able to play a range of characters throughout your career, and how exciting that will be. But in the beginning, rather than trying to play 500 different things and be 500 different things, pick 5, pick 4 or 5. Pick 4 or 5 types of characters. You were talking about, who they want to be and who they want to show. Zendaya, who I'm sure you all know, was in my middle school class and had 0 credits. She was in middle school theater. She was, playing third treat from the left sometimes, right? She was just starting out. Her parents were local theater people in the Bay Area at Cal Shakes. Over 225,000 kids auditioned for Shake It Up. Why did they go with the one who had 0 credits? Because of the essence of who she was what they were looking for, right? Exactly. And so the essence of who your child is, the strengths, look, one of the things I tell clients is, and potential clients that we speak with are, your child has to be driving this. There are helicopter parents. We all have seen them. We all work with them, even with a big smile on our face. But if your kid's not in it, and if your kid's not driving this ship, it's not going to work. And then as a parent, what I tell parents is, then you have to get on board, because this is a big commitment for you, right? The training, the auditions, the setting up your home studios, everything that goes along with this. And the thing that I love about what we do at Actors Fast Track, you can go watch videos, you can go buy some videos and watch what people tell you to do, or with working with us, we walk with you through this entire journey. We hold your hand. We are interactive with you, and it's an experiential process. So yeah, so I hope I answered your question on that. Like I just think...
no, it was good. And so you've talked about 3, which is a robust marketing package to include, so then once you know what the brand is,
once you have the brand,
then you can get the resume and the headshot. And I want to make it really clear that regardless of me, I will tell you, how you can go further with us if you want to do that. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But regardless what you do, please don't, if your kid is, here's one thing that I think is really important. You have to make a decision. There's nothing wrong with having your kid in, amateur kind of, after school plays that they do. But there's a difference, if the child or the teenager really wants it, right? That's what they want, and you're willing to commit to doing that, then I would not play that other game, that amateur game. I would just play a professional game, because having one leg in one of them and one leg in the other is problematic, right? And so, and the reason I know that is because we worked with, before Actors Fast Track Junior, we worked with Clark Furlong and his mother, Jem Furlong, and she was on Euphoria. He was on Euphoria. That was his first thing. And then, and she had been an actress before she had children. So when Clark came to her and said, I want to be an actor, she was like, no, and then no, and no. And then finally she's like, okay, but this is it. I'm not going to drive you to do, they live in the farmlands of Virginia. I'm not going to drive you 3 hours to dance in the chorus of a, barn production of, a chorus line or whatever, if you're going to do this, you have to do this. And she literally drove him so many times from Virginia to New York, right? Till they started paying for the flights, right? And that's where you get to. Right. And so I just want you to know that it's it is work, right, Michael? It's like not.
Yeah, and there's a place, and look, like I did school plays in middle school and high school and community theater, and that's all wonderful. And there's some great foundational things that you could learn in that ensemble, working together. I mean, creating all of it. There's a place for that. That's not what this is. What this is helping launch your career into
For
something
real.
for real, right?
For real.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And
so
there
that's
is
what
a
we do.
commitment. And look, it's if you choose this game, then it's a whole different thing. And so what Valerie's talking about, if I'm working, my local community theater, or my local middle school play, or my local high school play, or any of that in that world, which again is great.
Yeah.
It's difficult because you may have to be on set or auditioning for this or that and flying to LA or your next town over or wherever. And that's business, right? That's money. And I say that because it will net you money, but there's millions of dollars involved in these productions. And so to be able to be present and aware and prepared and ready to go on that is a different thing. And so that's what we're talking about now. Yeah.
Yeah. Great.
But the marketing that we were talking about, the headshots and the reels and the clips, these are all things that we teach you, all things that you will need to have, because again, yes, we work on the actor training side, but we're working over here from the business standpoint too. And what people don't often realize, and sometimes then when they do remember, is that it's show business for a reason. Right. And there is a business side of things that have to be in alignment. And Valorie, explains it very well as, you are the CEO, your parent, you, the parent, will be the CEO of your child's enterprise, Mary Smith Entertainment. Right. And there's an entire team that has to be in place, coaches, business coaches, agents, all of that will go into making your business successful. And part of that is your sales team, and your sales team needs the materials to help sell you, because like it or not, as ugly as this may sound, particularly for kids, is your child is the product. And that's what you have to understand. Your child is what is being bought, their talents, et cetera, et cetera. And so to sell you and to make you in a viable place to be competitive in this market, and it is an extremely competitive market for youth actors. You have to have the best materials, your headshots, your clips, your resume built. We help you build it. All of those things are what's then handed over to your sales team, agents, et cetera, that says, okay, go sell me, right? And so rather than just getting some headshots, overpriced headshots that typically have, we're taken at Sears or Olin Mills or by the guy next door that has a kind of a cool new iPhone, right? None of that. Right, professional headshots by people who do this for a living. Once you have a package put together, based on who we are packaging you as, again, that's not who you will ever play, all you will ever play, but it's a foundation. Then you're better aligned to go out and provide your team, once you have an agent that we show you how to land, and sell you properly. So that's a big component in the foundation. We spend a lot of time, sometimes 2 or 3 months in the beginning, just working on all of that, the pitch, how to pitch yourself, all of those things in the beginning. Because once we have that in place, look, one of my clients last week, he just wrapped up all of the things that from the package standpoint. We hit go on submissions on Actors Access and Backstage. He had 37 auditions in 48 hours. 37. Why? He has no credits, 0 credits. He was a musician. He's a rock singer in LA. Why? Because his brand and his package is solid. Solid. Clips are ready. Everything's ready to go, and is nailing it. So that's the foundation, I think, a lot of the work that we do.
Yeah. Awesome. Beautiful. I also want to say one thing, as someone that spent a lot of time with Disney. I'm part of the family. I have to say that they are the most healthy for you. If there's parents listening to this, they are the most healthy people and really cool people. And I have good friends still from that world, and just really spot on. And so it's a great world. So if you hear stuff, which you probably don't that much, because really it's not true. And if you just look at some of the people that were born there as child actors, and now the kind
Britney
of
Spears,
adult,
I mean,
yeah, I mean, Zendaya is one of them. Like, she's amazing as a human being, right? Miley Cyrus. I mean, she went through some stuff, but she did it in front of the camera and she did it well, and she's doing well for herself, and she's created her life, and so, and I worked with those people, and they're just, it was really fun. It's a really fun environment. I just want to say that, because sometimes I know we have questions about that. Okay, building relationships is next. And then I want to say this: if you have questions for Michael, please put them in the Q&A section, and we will take a few questions we want to answer your questions. So Michael, number 4, building relationships with casting directors, agents, producers, writers, and directors.
Yeah, so this is a relationship business. It's about, there's the old adage of it's not who you know, or not what you know, it's who you know. And that has several different connotations, I think, that go along with that, and wherever you come from a perspective of that. What I have found is that relationships that are built and grown organically are the ones that persevere and become fruitful, and that fruitfulness looks like a lot of different things. Oftentimes, actors, veteran actors who have been doing this for a long time, and particularly new actors, will try to clamp on with an agent or a casting director or a showrunner, writer, or director about what it is that they can do for you. And whether it's through social media or being on set and following up or what have you, the decision makers see right through that, right? And so we help you to establish organic relationships, or relationships that are going to last,
Forever.
and
For a long time.
Yeah, go through the test of time, right? And so when you approach it from a perspective of giving, from gratitude, from what it is that you can do to help solve their problem, you will find that those become the relationships that really matter, right? And it's critical to have these relationships. Everybody from a showrunner to writers that are producers. One of the most interesting things that I've learned in the 5 years that I've been at this is to really make great relationships with like casting associates, right? Because those are tomorrow's casting directors, right? So really just coming at it from a place of being grateful for being in the room, for having an opportunity to audition, for being on set, for being able to attend a showcase, to be able to share your work, is really, really important. One of the things I'll kind of slip in here, because it's always, I just find it really important for parents to know and for kids to know, is that to be a working actor, the audition itself, you're working. You're gonna not book 95% of the things you audition for, right? And it's tough. And that's another thing for parents to understand. You got to know your kid. The kid has to be resilient. You have to be there to wipe away the tears and explain, why they didn't get a part, or all of that is part of the things that go with it. And so it's just really, really important to start off on the right foot and to build relationships that are gonna be fruitful and meaningful over time. And so we, oftentimes actors will come to us, and the first thing that they need to do, they think, is to get an agent. And while having an agent is absolutely important as you continue to grow and move forward and progress in your career, you don't have to start off with one. I didn't start off with one, and then when I did start off with one, I fired 3 of them within the first 365 days I was working, right, for various reasons. And then the one I was really after, that I really wanted to be with, and I courted for 2 years, and all of that, like, she finally sent me an email one day and said, I don't know how you slipped through the crack, but here you are, and we're going to sign you. And even that was a change in course of the journey when I became a SAG actor. And so you're going to come across so many people, and all the millions of actors on IMDb. It's funny because I can't tell you how many times paths cross, they overlap. This one, she worked makeup for this, and oh my gosh, that was my costume designer on it. Everybody knows everybody.
Yep.
And so establishing, maintaining, cultivating relationships with people in the industry the organic right way, from my point of view, is critically important. And so we show you how to do that, how to reach out, how to put yourself in front of the decision makers, right? Not the gatekeepers, the decision makers. And that's casting, that's the writers, producers, directors. We show you how to seek out proper representation, people that are going to be not just another number on their roster, but meaningful relationships in your management and your agent teams and all of that. So all part of the training and stuff that we provide through our programming.
Great. Okay, that's great. Yeah, I actually, funny, this is so weird. When I was 12, I did a professional production of Sound of Music. Ted Wass, who was later Blossom's dad, and then became one of the most successful sitcom directors in the business. Like, our relationship has continued on.
Yeah.
Since he played my dad in, 1974. Okay, and so, like, that's what you were talking about, like the continuation of the relationship, as a child actor into being an adult actor.
Yeah.
Right. So great. All right. So I told them you guys could ask questions. So we're going to keep going for a few more minutes, and we're going to talk about mastering the audition process. Number 5.
Yeah, I mean, this goes really back into some of the coaching things, and it also kind of bleeds into our next segment, self-taping. But, now it's very rare that you're in the room for a first round audition. You may be called in for a producer session, or, a chemistry read, which is how you fare with another actor, scene partners, etc. But having the actor training, we're preparing you from a heavy lift in the business side of things. But once you have that, and once you are now getting auditions, it's critically important that you have ongoing training, that you know what you're doing in front of the camera, how to cold read, how to break down scripts, all of the things that you're doing as part of the process. We will coach you through, because for many of you, this is your first crack at this. And so really having a good handle on mastering the process of auditioning, what to do when you get it, how to respond to your team, to your agents, or if you're self-submitting, how to respond to your buyers, and then how to prepare for that audition. All of those things are critically important, and we go into that in depth in our training, which kind of leads us to number 6, which is self-taping. You'll see behind me, I've got my screen, I've got my lighting set up, I've got all of it, and so all of it. You've got my ring lights, my box lights are over there. And so, everything from getting the equipment that you need, things that the color of the background, why it's different for theatrical versus commercial, like all of the things that you need to set up in your home, a self-tape studio. We're gonna help you establish that. We will, either through our training, or again, because I like to kind of beef your resume and get you working with as many coaches from a acting standpoint as possible, get you linked up with amazing coaches that specifically work on self-taping, specifically work on mastering the audition process as far as booking rather than how you would play it on set. There's a wealth of connections that come with working with us, and the self-taping process, and making sure you have everything you need to be successful is a critical part of that. And so that's one of the things that
that's the thing that COVID really did. Like, we all had to go to self-tape, and we all of a sudden had to learn how to light, sound, shoot, edit,
wardrobe, makeup,
and
crafting if you get hungry,
that we never had to do before. And for someone like me, it was like they had to drag me kicking and screaming because, I've been an actress my whole life and always went into the room, and it was like a nightmare. But now I have my whole big thing right over here and all my lights, and my husband read with me this morning for the sitcom. And then he started laughing. I was like, oh my God, we have to reshoot this now.
Yeah, there's great things. I mean, and you've got actors that are on both sides of the fence, and casting and everything else. Casting loves it because they get to see 10,000 more different takes on a role, right? They get to see so many more actors, which for you makes it more competitive as a parent and a child actor. Makes it a little bit more competitive because more people are being seen, and so that just means your game has to be stronger, right? Because there's so many people being seen internationally now. And so, but one of the things I love about being, I'm a little secret, like, and this is like years and years and years and years of theater, which I love, but I hate auditioning, right? I just hate it. The process.
I hate it too.
I hate it. But although my phone does ring without me having to audition now, but most of the time I'm auditioning. And the thing that I love about auditioning in my studio at home is if I didn't like the take, I retake it. I reshoot it.
Yeah.
If it's a mid-level up shot, I can tape with my fantastic shirt on or my whatever I'm wearing and a pair of running shorts. I don't have to fight traffic to get out across town and find parking and and rush in for a slate and a 2-minute audition. And so it's awesome to be able to. So we're going to set you up with all of that and show you how to be successful.
Yeah. So great. I wanted to say, because we do have some questions now. So
good.
So I wanted to, yes, Emily, just hold with me 1 minute. I'm going to tell you how, if you want to continue on, you can, and we'll work with you more hand on hand. But let me speak to Brigitte first. Do you know a great online child acting training in the UK? That includes everything you were speaking about: improv, script preparation, accents, mastering, auditions, and self-tapes. Yes, we do. We have a lot of clients in London. And so, we have a network of people because we have clients all over the world. And so, Michael is able to access that clientele, so he can say, what's the best person? I need this for my because Michael is we are introducing Actors Fast Track Junior to other markets because we have been successful with our Actors Fast Track. We have a really big actors in London that we work with, so we know and they're signed by big agencies there.
Yeah, and the thing is, as part of working with us, I mean, again, this is the thing that kind of sets us apart from like buying a video and learning how to do a resume or headshots or whatever. We're working with you hand in hand, and I've got clients in other countries, and so we just make up the time difference. Sometimes I'm teaching class at 4 o'clock in the morning, US time. But the thing with us is, yes, to answer your question, we have the access to all of that.
Yes.
It may be that you and I are working with breaking down a script. It may be that you and I are exchanging information. I'm sending you information like, hey, here's the cell, here's your home studio setting up. These are the lights you need. This is the thing you need. So it's interactive. You have access to us via, we meet once a week. I mean, there's emails, there's phone calls, there's texts. So a lot of the things that you're asking for, you're getting with us. And then we then send you off and recommend, internationally acclaimed coaches in other specific areas. Once it is that you are on the path, I wouldn't suggest running out and just getting a dialect coach today, because we don't know.
No, and that's what the next
Right.
question is about. Like, so Brigitte, I hear you about the accent and all of that, but right now, this is what you have to understand about what we do. We're talking about all inclusive. So all inclusive of like every decision that you make. And so it ultimately always working with someone like us is going to save you money, because you're not going to be around, oh my God, I'm going to go get this accent class. Oh my God, I'm going to go do this. I'm doing this. It all comes together to get to one thing, which is your child acting.
And we start at the beginning and work forward. We don't say, go get an accent coach and go get some headshots and then figure out who you're gonna, what your type is or your brand is, or how to set up we start from the beginning and get to know your child, get to know the essence of who they are, how they work, and then move forward so that everything is aligned to, oh, okay, she plays this type or he plays this types of characters. Oh, case in point, myself, I'm getting a lot of Russian auditions lately. Well, I don't speak Russian. I don't have a Russian, dialect. But because of the brand of Unhinged, I'm getting Russian mob boss a lot.
Yeah.
So now I'm taking dialect classes.
There you go.
To play Russian, right? So you got the old phrase, putting the cart before the horse. Yes, we will put you in direct contact with the people that are going to scratch your specific itch for your specific niche once we understand what the niche is.
You guys, like one of my very best friends is the person that coached Colin Firth, his voice on the King's Speech. So she's the head of voice at Tulane in New Orleans, and we know the people, like what you'll need that, but don't do that right now. So let me just say this. We want to work with you one-on-one, and we don't want you to make that decision lightly. And so we're going to do something that we don't normally do. We're going to do a VIP day. All right. It's a 3-hour thing. And it won't be a webinar. It'll be like a Zoom. So we'll see everyone that's on there. And if you are attending, you must attend with your parent. Right? Now, there might be a time where if you're older and we want to do something acting in those 3 hours we spend together, your parent doesn't need to necessarily be for that. But we need to have your parent there, because it's a parent-child decision until you're over 18. And if you're over 18, then you should talk to me about Actors Fast Track. So we're going to do it VIP day. It's going to be Saturday, November 5th. From what time? I should know this, right?
I believe it's 1 o'clock New York
Yeah,
time.
1 o'clock Eastern to 4 p.m. Eastern. If you can't make that, so that is going to be a VIP day, followed up by a follow-up phone call from Sarah, who y'all just met if you were here in the beginning, right? So that we're going to,
Hey, Valorie, will you tell them what they're getting in that VIP day? What's going to happen there?
Yeah, I will. So we're going to take a look at the brand mostly of your child and what they're selling. I mean, to really get an idea of what they're doing. Now, know this, that even with my adult clients, sometimes it's an evolution, like he talked so greatly about, right? It's an evolution of knowing how to talk about you and having the right pictures and all that. But you will definitely leave that day with a clearer idea of what your child is selling and what they need to identify that thing that they're selling. So when we got to a robust marketing package. So we're really going to be talking about, we're going to find out where you are in your acting training. We might do a little bit of that depending on how we feel, but mostly 2 and 3, precise branding and a robust marketing, right? Like it's, you know, that's what we can cover in 3 hours and everyone gets a little touch of that. So that's what we're going to do on that day. And the price for that is $397. So I'm going to put that link in the chat. And then if you do want to do a payment plan, it's 2 payments of $225. I'll put that link in. And then the last thing that I'm going to put the link in for is if you are unable to make that, but you are really interested in what it means to work with us, either as an adult or as a child actor and a parent, then I'm also going to give you guys Sarah's calendar link. So you can get on her calendar and talk to her and ask her any questions you want to ask her. We are really, our main focus is to help you get wherever you want to get forward in your acting career. That's always been my focus. That's what I do. And I myself do not have children. So when I get to see my children, my clients, book things, then it's very exciting for me. When Michael told me, I mean, when Michael, you know, texts me with his wins, I get very excited. All right. So again, the VIP day is November 5th from 1 to 4 p.m. Eastern time. The price of that day is $397. We're going to cover each person's brand and packaging, and it will be attended by both me and Michael, because I bring an element and Michael brings an element. I will also bring you something from Actors Fast Track, what our adult thing that we do, which is build a brand, which helps as well. So I'll be happy to give you that document to help you.
And Emily, to answer your question, I see Emily has a question over the chat. No, 16 is not too old. 17 is not too old. I think the oldest that we've had was like 17 on the verge of 18 or something. So
yeah,
you fit right in. And the thing too that you should know, everyone should know on here, is that we will occasionally have like group sessions, right? But the amazing thing about the work that we do is it's all one-on-one primarily. So and you'll learn more about that when you come to the VIP day. We're going to go into a lot more about how it is like working with us on a full-time basis. 6 months, a year. I've got clients that I work with for a year on a year rolling basis. So we'll cover all of that then, but get into this like one-day event, and we're going to take a deeper dive, and you're going to walk away with like some stuff from that session. Right away, you're going to start seeing some results. And when she says, taking a look at your package, taking a look at your brand, if you don't have one, you're in the right place, right?
Yeah.
And if you don't have one, you're in the right place. And if you have one, but you're not sure what to do with it, you're in the right place, right? So, yeah, it's a great way to come spend 3 hours and take a deeper dive into the launching of the journey that we're talking about.
Yeah. Yes. You know, Michael, you're such a giving human being. I mean, you've adopted these children and you're just a very giving person. And so, you know, and also sometimes very humble, but like Michael is on the verge of stardom. Like, I know that about you. And so, you know, like I would come and take advantage of him now because I always tell him, you know, I'm like, oh, Michael, it's, you know, and he's like, oh, you know, and I'm like, but, you know, I really appreciate you giving me your talent. So, you know, I can, you know, because it's really special. I just want you to know it means something to me that you do that.
And one of the things I want to give to like everyone listening today is that, you know, we've thrown out a lot of information in a little compact amount of, you know, little time. And some of it may sound scary, and some of it is scary. right? When we walk out into the ocean and we can't see the bottom of the ocean and we don't know what's quite out there, but gosh, it looks so much fun and we want to keep going more and more. That's what it's like to work with us, right? And so you may not have the answers. We may sometimes not have all the answers, but we are equipped to find them and to best position you. And so the thing I want you to know is, yes, it sounds scary. It sounds like a lot, and it is. And it's so much fun. Right. And so if you come and approach it, if you come to the VIP day, open-minded and really just celebrating the fact that you're here now today, celebrating the fact that you're joining us on the VIP day, that you are taking a leap into something that perhaps is what you've always dreamed of doing, and you're in safe, comfortable hands that will support you in doing that, even on the days where it's ugly and scary, right?
Yeah, and I think
dive in is what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah, I agree with that, because I feel like, you don't ever want to tell yourself in your life, wherever you are, that you didn't give it your all, because that's, if you do, like, hey, I'm going to go all in, I'm going to see if this is something I really want to do. And just like when I did that Disney show, the thing that I really appreciate about watching those 4 young men grow up is that they each made a conscious decision about continuing to be an actor or being a producer or designing clothes or being a rocket scientist. That's what they were all doing, right? And so each one of them did their role on Disney and probably set up a nice college fund for themselves, right? And then they went off to do what they wanted to do with their lives. And or you are 16 and you want to be an actor, like it's all you have ever wanted and it's what you're going to do. Because I was like that. When I was 17, my mom took me all over the United States and I auditioned for all the acting schools, and that's what I did, right? That's all I ever wanted to do. So all of us come to it differently.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going back to that question that Emily asked, 16, 17. Look, I imagine, somewhere between sophomore and junior, maybe junior to senior, or depending on where you are, the appropriate conversion from what we do here in the States from an education standpoint.
Yeah.
If you're wanting to do this, and even in theater, that's an enhanced thing that I love working with. I'm literally working with an actor right now who is about to next year start their junior year. They're over in Wyoming. And her dream is to be an actor. Her dream is to be a Broadway actress. And so I'm working with her on a year-round program to make sure that she's prepared for her auditions for conservatories, for universities, so that she's super competitive, right? So all of that, if it's film, television, or theater, there's a place for us to work together so that whether you go off into film and television or you go into theater, if you on stage, behind the camera, stage management, directing, producing, whatever it is, we're able to bring that world closer for you to realize this. I used to tell my students all the time, look, most of you are not going to move on to pursue film and television or acting or theater. This were my high school theater kids in a performing arts high school. I knew that not all of those kids were going to go on to follow this. But what I wanted them to be was someone who was confident and felt strong about their voice, and who could share that voice that they had in their communities and in the world. So whether it's, if you're going to go on to be a top actor, entertainer, Zendaya,
Mm-hmm.
or if you're going to, if you choose that you want to go manage your local restaurant, be the best that you can be, show up every day. The things you're going to learn about with working with us are certainly things that you're going to use every day in film and television and theater in your career, but it's also going to be things that enhance you as an artist and as a human. And the connectedness between that and whatever you choose to do ultimately are very real. And so that's what I invite you to do when you step in and work with us, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so we're gonna definitely have some more time for questions. So if you have questions and you want to put them and ask them of Michael and all we talked about, there's one last thing, and so I put, the chat is probably pretty full now, and for you guys that are watching this recording later on, I will include all the links and all of that. But just to review, I thought maybe it would be good to just review the actor training, precise branding, robust marketing package. That's everything: resume, headshot, video clips, building relationships with casting directors, agents, producers, writers, directors, just building your relationships, mastering the audition process, self-taping, and setting up your home studio. Those are the things that we've talked about so far. So if you came on late and you want to watch the recording and go back on those things that Michael so eloquently spoke on. And so one last thing I want to talk about is your number 8, which is marketing. So talk to me about that.
Yeah, so you're learning the craft, the acting side of things, or you're enhancing it and continuing to work if you're already doing that. And you've worked with us to identify the types of roles and characters and shows you'd like to be on, and films and directors you'd like to work with, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And we've worked together in building a competitive package of your resume, your headshots, your clips. Now, what do we do with that? Well, we have to use that as your sales team goes out to sell you. And sometimes in the beginning, you're the sales team, right? If you don't have representation, you're the sales team. And so there's a variety of Spotlight over in the UK, or you've got, Actors Access, or you've got, you've got Backstage, Casting Networks, all the portals, all the ways that we, in one capacity, reach the buyer, casting directors, agents, or directly bypassing some of that and going directly after a very targeted list of writers and producers and directors that we know are buying our product. Now we have the tools to do that. We help you create one sheets. We help you create signature pages and embedding your clips and all the things in your emails. We turn you on to great people who build websites down the road. I mean, there's just a whole package that goes together to help in your marketing efforts. Valorie, tell them a great story about the McDonald's analogy. It's perfect. While she does that, I need to step away for 1 second. I'm going to put my video off. But if you explain that, and then I'll pop back on and follow back up if I need to.
Oh, okay. All right. I will tell that. All right. Sorry, I'm coming back. I didn't know I was going to get. So here is the program again. If you just came on late, we offered the VIP day with us, where we're going to cover your marketing and your brand, and that is November 5th. And I hope you join us for that. Okay, the McDonald's story. So most actors, when they are running their business, they are, so if you imagine that your business, your acting business, is a McDonald's. Most actors have the doors locked and they're back here with their butt turned to the doors. They're not letting any customers in. And they're going, you agent the French fries, you manage the hamburgers, right? And that's the problem, because you're not allowing customers to come in the door. And business is about the exchange of a product or service for money. So when you're selling your product, you need to identify what it is, and your daily habit has to be in looking for acting work, right? So, but if you do everything really well here before you go sell it, you'll sell it better. So hopefully that makes sense. Is there, okay, we did this question. Let me know if anyone has any questions that you would like me to answer. Any questions that you would like me to answer about anything. I mean, I've been a working actress my whole life. And I've helped a lot of actors. So if you have any questions, let us know. I told them the McDonald's story.
I love it. Sorry.
So you guys, that's the material that we had planned today. And if you do have questions, we are happy to stay. But if not, I'm sure we all want to do something with our Saturday. If you would like to join us on November 5th, you can take that, link with you, or you can reach out to us if you need it again. If you can't make that date, but you still want to talk to us, I put Sarah's link in the chat and we will put it in the email. So make sure you get on Sarah's calendar to talk to her. Michael, I want to thank you so much for being here today.
Absolutely. It was great being here, seeing you, of course, and also seeing all of y'all are taking your questions, and really hope that you'll dive in and join us on the VIP day. I would love to have the opportunity to dive a little further with you all.
Well, it's a good deal, you guys, because he's going to be off being a movie star. You are.
And helping create new ones. I work from set all the time. I step off set, walk into my trailer, and get on a Zoom call with one of my clients. So
I did that too.
So jump in and have fun and get on set. That's what
I'm working right now. I was talking to clients in my dressing room.
Love it.
It's great. So all right, you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for everyone. And we'll see you soon. Thank you, Michael.
Bye, guys.
Okay, bye.